Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Moment with Uche Egbi. Thank you for watching today's video. Now, today we're going to be talking on stress. Stress. Stress is something a lot of people are going through. We all go through it, particularly with the economy. It has not been easy. And, a lot of people go through and they don't even know they're going through stress. Some don't even know what to do about it. Some don't even know how to handle it. So our guest this afternoon is Dr. Mando Baki. Dr. Mando, today's topic, I'm sure you know you want to agree with me that it's an interesting topic because a lot of people are going through stress with the economy. The economy isn't friendly at all, and a lot of people don't know what to do about it, and it's telling on them. So, Ma, what can you tell us about stress?
Wow, you've said it all. Everybody goes through one form of stress or the other. But I want to tell you what stress is in a very simple way. Stress is a state of worry or mental tension caused by the situations around you, particularly difficult situations. Now, we could also describe stress as a natural human response on an impact caused by the challenges, your body trying to address the challenges around you or threats you're having in your life. Stress could also mean an emotional or physical tension. Like we have mentioned, everyone goes through stress. Now, stress are of different types. We have a stress that is called the acute stress. What is acute stress? Acute stress are stress that come for a moment and then disappear. So you don't stay in that stress for long. For example, you are on a traffic jam, hurrying to go somewhere, and you just meet this jam. Oh, you'll be shouting, oh, please, let me move, let me move. You are already passing through stress. That's why you are reacting. That one does not last for long. As soon as the traffic is lessened, that stress goes away. That's acute stress. We have this chronic stress. These are prolonged stress. It seems endless and irreversible. You sleep and wake up, this stress is in front of you. Like a woman or a man that is in a bad marriage. That stress is continuous for life, particularly those couples that say they are Christians. You won't want to break your marriage because of stress, so you try to cope in the marriage. That's chronic stress. We also have episodic acute stress. What does this one mean? It's an acute stress, but it's short-term and comes back. It's a short-term stress, but it comes back. Remember we said acute, short-term, then goes off. But this one comes, goes off, and comes back again. For example, you have to visit the hospital. Maybe you have a fracture, and it has to take like 6 months for that fracture to be healed. And so you have to be going to the hospital from time to time. That is episodic acute stress. Then you have eustress. Eustress is a stress that you enjoy doing what you're doing, yet you are being stressed. For example, those people doing athletes, running, they are running, you want to meet a deadline. So you are running, you are enjoying the running, but you are passing through stress. That's what we call eustress. Now, everything round about us can cause stress. Your finances can cause you to be stressed. Your work can cause you to be stressed. Your marriage can cause you to be stressed. Relationship can cause you to be stressed. Traveling, just everything around about us. Experiences, disasters, economic crisis, all can cause stress. So stress is just everywhere. How to cope with the stress is what matters. How do I recognize that I have stress is what matters. Thank you.
So, Dr. Mando, we said all this, yes, but like I want to ask a question, right? How do I know that I'm going through stress? Like sometimes, some people you hear children say, mommy, I'm stressed. How do I really know that I'm going through stress?
Thank you very much. Stress, when you're passing through stress, there are some symptoms, signs and symptoms that will enable you recognize that you're passing through stress. Like everybody passes through stress, and the stressors are different. Now, the way A reacts to stress is not the way B will react to stress. So you have signs, like you see yourself ordinary, you don't use for people who take alcohol, you see yourself taking too much alcohol, too much of smoking, too much of substance. Something is wrong. You find yourself not having sleep. You try to sleep, you cannot sleep. Something is wrong. You find yourself eating abnormally. You just eat, abnormally. Or you find yourself not eating at all. There's this suppression of appetite. You cannot, the mood changes. Yes. You see yourself angry. Yeah, every minute you're angry. Every minute you're angry. Then sometimes you have reduced sex drive. For those in marriage, you can't know what is doing you, but you don't just feel like, Then you have sudden running stomach. Your tummy just gets upset suddenly. Sometimes you have sweat in your palms. You are sweating, Then trembling, you start shaking for no reason. And others are the signs you will notice and know that you're passing through stress. An important one is anxiety. During stress, you are not relaxed. So because you are not relaxed, your system tries to force you to relax. There's no way. Anxiety, because of hormones, anxiety sets in. And you become very anxious over many things. Then depression comes in. Now, all these signs I have mentioned or symptoms can be divided into 4 main groups. Psychological stress. What are the signs? Like psychological stress, this one of having anxiety is one. Then behavioral stress, you don't take care of yourself any longer. You like dressing very well. You forget about yourself. That is behavioral. Physical, you find your BP high, because of raising heartbeats, because that's one of the signs. Your heartbeat begins to, beat abnormally high. Then you have high blood pressure. Then for people who overeat, you see them bloating. Then for people who undereat, they become slim. So those are the different groups.
Okay, doctor. We know that this stress affects our health, isn't it? Can you tell us some of these health challenges that one can come down with, going through long period of stress or.
Now it's vice versa. That's to say, stress can increase or make us pass through health challenges. And also these health challenges can increase the level of our stress. For example, I have high blood pressure. I had been controlling my high blood pressure, and suddenly I have some stressors around me. My heart begins to beat. So suddenly your pressure increases. Now, we also have diabetes. It has an effect. Stress, when you are overstressed, it helps increase your level of sugar. That is hormonal. It has explanations. But since we are speaking to the public and we want everybody to understand, you just know that stressors have a way of increasing your diabetes level. Stress can cause depression, anxiety and depression. That's working on your mental health. Mental health is very important to everybody. But once you allow your stress, you can't cope with your stress, it begins to affect your mental health. Itself is a whole huge problem medically and others.
Okay, doctor. When my son was younger, I used to hear him say, "Mommy, my BP has gone up. Mommy, I'm stressed." And I'm like, "What do you know about stress? Do children really go through stress?"
Yes, of course. Remember we said stress was for everybody. But the way children go through stress is not the same way adults go through stress. And the stressors of children are different. For example, a child just changing his environment is stressed. He begins to be stressed. This new environment that we are going to, or I will lose all my friends. Then schoolwork. My grades, how will I pass? How will I do this? Will make a child go into stress. Now, chores, house chores and schoolwork, not putting many things together for a child will stress a child. Then a child has a quarrel with one other of the friend or a family member will stress that child and others. Your parents are quarreling. No, they are not happy. Will stress the child.
Like I'm just thinking as a layman, can shutting down, like for example, like you come on when you like shut down, maybe try to rest, try to sleep, real sleep, can it actually help?
Oh yes. In fact, that is one of the ways of managing stress. When you take enough sleep, what sleep does to you is it repairs your body, it relaxes your body, and rejuvenates your body. Very essential. Enough sleep is very essential to cope with stress. But you see, the quality of sleep matters. How can I build a good quality of sleep? You need to make your room quiet, no dark room. The temperature of your room should be okay enough for you to be able to sleep. Then you don't watch your screens, electronics, before you go to bed, because those have an effect on your sleep. You want quality of sleep. Then of course, you do exercises. If you exercise yourself so much in the afternoon, by bedtime, after taking your bath, you'll be so relaxed to sleep. Very, very essential.
Because I know that there's this family that I know, and my husband tells me that the wife used to complain that the ways she'll talk, maybe they're having challenges, they're having financial problems, and she's like talking and talking and talking, and before you know what's happening, she's talking to the man, all right, before you know what's happening, the man has shut down, he has slept. And she's like, look at this man, I'm saying something you're not even hearing. I'm saying, if he doesn't know how to handle it, what should he do? And I think that's where the Bible verse that comes in. This Bible verse that's in Matthew chapter 6 verse 25. It said, therefore I say unto you, take no thoughts for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more meat than the body than raiment? A lot of stress comes through thoughts, particularly with the economy. You're thinking of what you're going to feed the children with, for mothers especially, and of course for fathers. You're thinking of how you're going to pay your rent. You're thinking of how you're going to pay the fees, and all. A lot of bills are piling up, And then the Bible talks about take no thought of it. Doctor, as a doctor, how do we put that? Like you want to tell your patients that comes to you that is stressed, can you just tell us how you're going to encourage them with this Bible verse? Because I like to encourage people with this Bible verse. Okay. So I like you to just encourage somebody. How would you put it in to tell the person comes and this person is stressed? How are you going to put this Bible verse to work?
Thank you very much. One of the things to do or to tell that patient at that time, what causes stress is worry. You're worrying for one thing, second thing, third thing. You want to accomplish so many things at the same time. But there's this one thing I can tell that patient. Practice mindfulness. What does it mean? Meditation. What does it mean? Try to focus on one thing and bring that thing to completion before you handle another thing. That way, you'll be able to break out all this stress. For example, I'm handling children's school, I'm handling taking care of home, I have to cook. Those are just normal stresses. So you try to do phase one and finish, then you handle the next. Then try to draw a routine of your daily activity. One of the reasons why we are stressed is that we don't have control of our time. We need to have control of our time. And how do you have control of our time? By drawing a daily routine. Okay, by this time, I'll be eating. This time, I'll be with my family. This time, that makes you have total control of your time.
Yeah. Some of these things are easier said than done, because I know I've tried to, by this time, before you know what's happening, something comes and takes over the other activity, and before you know what's happening, you have a lot of them put together. But doctor, thank you so much for all this talk about stress. I don't know what advice you have for somebody who is already stressed, somebody who is already going through stress. Can you advise, can you give us an advice on what we should do? Because like we say, anyhow you look at it, if you drop dead today, the trouble will still go on. So advise somebody out there who's already going through so much stress.
Okay, my advice will be based on, remember that stress is an everyday thing. 2, stress are of different types. We need a little stress a day to be able to carry out our daily activities. But when the stress surpasses that of that day, you begin to think of the toll this stress will have on you. And so if you think of it, not only on your body, on your mental health, then you begin to think of, how will I manage it? Because if you see the damages stress causes, you will also know that there are ways of how to manage the stress. And so the advice I will give is simple ways of managing the stress. We had mentioned some already, like the drawing of your daily routine, simple exercises. You walk, take a walk, and let it be a routine exercise. You take a walk, sometimes you make it a little bit minor and intense. It's one of the ways of controlling the stress. Eat healthily. Make sure you eat at intervals. Take more of fruits and vegetables. Take balanced diet. Some people go on Gary morning, Gary afternoon, Gary evening. It's not too good. Take a balanced diet. Then connect with friends, very important. Connect with friends, both old and new. In the group of friends, you will have some that you trust, that you could share. Because when you carry this burden, the burden of stress, that's when it begins to have a toll on you, your health and your mental health, body health and mental health. So you share with trusted friends. Then when you are conversing with your friends in groups, old friends, you just find yourself being light because you have discussed. What is happening there is that it is distracting your thoughts from that stressor. So you are now being happy. That's one of the ways. Now another way is to recognize that you're having a burnout. What's a burnout? A burnout is a total, complete emotional shutdown, emotional, physical, and mental shutdown, mental exhaustion. Mentally, you are completely tired, exhausted. Physically, you are completely exhausted. Emotionally, you are completely exhausted. That's when you're having burnout. We used to see during videos where people would just want to give a speech, they fall. That is burnout. So if you can recognize the state of burnout in you, then you'll be able to manage that stress, not to allow you get to where you have a burnout. Those are just some common things like hair loss. You stay, your hair is cutting. It's stress. You see your body adding. You're adding up. Oh, I want to cut down. I'm not eating, yet you're adding weight. It's stress. Your gums are cracking all the time. It's stress. Please look for ways to relax. Oyibo people used to keep money and go on vacation. So let's try to live a quality life. By the time you live a quality life, the stress will be kept aside. And like she said, put God in it. Tell God to take away your worries. Tell God to take away your stress. And you will live happily. Learn coping mechanisms. Learn them. It's just that I don't have time. I would have explained some of those coping mechanisms. Keeping silent is one of those coping mechanisms you can quickly do.
Okay, thank you, doctor. You really talked a lot, and we have come to understand that stress. We've come to understand what stress can be and what stress is and what it can do to us. But I want to just leave final words to the viewers. Let them understand how serious this stress is. Because some will just think, oh, I'm just stressed, I'm just stressed, I'm just stressed. Being stressed, like what is the does it really have a serious, impact on one's life and health? Serious one.
Thank you very much. We have just looked at the different types of stress. And we mentioned chronic stress. That's the prolonged stress. Now, normally people naturally begin to look for coping mechanism of stress. Some people can cope very well with stress, while some people cannot. And those people that cannot cope with stress, what happens is, I need to explain this so that you understand. What happens when you go through stress? There is what you call the fight or the flight response. Fight or flight response that the body responds to naturally. And what happens at this stage? Hormones are being produced. You have adrenaline and cortisol being produced. So that prepares the body for that fight, that challenge that is coming. So the body is ready. A boost of energy is given. There are several mechanisms that takes place. So the body becomes boosted in energy. That's why you can see somebody jumps a height from a 5-story building. Yes, you never thought you could jump. And then after that, you enter into a state of relaxation. It's also called a relaxed response stage. It's when that stressor is away. But if you remain continuously in your stress, it means your body will remain constantly in that fight or flight mode. And so there's no relaxation. Your body, anxiety, high BP, your BP will be very high, uncontrolled, and yet you are not still doing anything. You don't know how to cope with it. Before you know, bam, heart attack. And once you have a heart attack, if it is not managed properly, it's death. That is what stress can do. That's just one. Then, if you continue in the stress, what will happen again? You will have a mental crack. That's to say, you will have insanity. Some people that are in the psychiatric hospital, particularly women, it's because they have been in chronic stress, marital stress. They can't manage it. Before you know, they are mad. Before you know, have you ever seen people moving on the street and they are talking? That's a state of stress. That's also a mental problem. So if you cannot manage stress very well, you will end up in a psychiatric hospital. That's one. You will end up being admitted in the hospital. I've already mentioned some diseases that can be aggravated due to stress. You see yourself becoming like an AIDS patient, and yet you have no AIDS. It's stress causing it. So it's good to know what is stressing you and how to manage it. So please, I'm advising viewers out there, share your stress. If you cannot manage the stress, go to a hospital where stress can be managed. Otherwise, you are going towards being a mental case. Some of those people who remove their dresses on the street are not anything, no witchcraft, but it's stress that they allow to accumulate in their system and had a mental crack. So mothers, fathers, and even children, always try to share your stress with somebody. Discussing stress is one way of just relieving yourself from it. So discuss it. This is what I'm passing through. This is what I'm passing through. Know yourself. Know yourself so you can dictate when you are passing through stress. So that's what I leave with you, viewers.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. People really don't understand how serious this stress can be. Some take it for granted. Some joke about it. But I'm happy that today somebody listened to you today, listen to us today, can understand that the stress is not something to joke with. If you realize your stress, it's good to deal with it. Talk to somebody. If you're not even sure you're stressed, you could just talk to somebody. And I believe, God, that today's word has helped somebody. So in conclusion, I will just leave us with some Bible verses, because I know that despite all, God is still the answer to a lot of all these challenges. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. That's the NLT version. Like she said, a lot of people are going through a lot. So as you're going through the lot, don't bottle it up. Speak to God. Pray about it. tell God about it, and find time to actually sit down and thank God for things He has done. You know, a lot of us are stressed because we're, first of all, ungrateful. We feel we're the only ones going through all these challenges. You know, you're not even seeing what God has done. And so you're not seeing God and what God has done. How do you begin to now believe for something better to come? So Philippians 4 verse 6 has told us, he said, don't worry about anything. Instead, do what? Pray about it. Tell it to God. And how do you tell it to God? Pray about it. You know, pray about it. Have time. Separate yourself. You know, like she said, work, busy, busy, busy. Have time to shut down. Shut down. Have a retreat. Just you and God. God, how do I do it? You know, and I want to believe, God, that as you speak to God, the Holy Ghost will give us direction on how to go about solving it. And then also Luke 12:25 says, can all your worries add a single moment to your life? NLT version says, of course not. So in all the worrying, in all the complaining, in all you want to do that is stressing, you know, that adds to the stress, you can't really add anything to your life. So my final word to us out there is appreciate God for what He has done. Take out time, like our doctor has just told us, connect with friends. Spend time. You're a mother, you're a father. Sit with your children. Crack jokes. Watch TV. Watch a movie. You know, lighten up. Go out. Get some ice cream. Get some snacks. Get some fruits. You know, laugh. And I want to believe, God, that when you do all this and realize that people love you, you're not alone in all these things, you know. Sometimes we feel we're alone. You're not alone. Connect with family, connect with friends, like Doctor has already said. I see God helping us. Thank you, viewers. See you next time. It has been a wonderful time having you, Dr. Mando. And I want to believe that when we call you again, you come. Thank you so much for the light you've shown to us. God bless you all. Remember, like the video, like I said, and share it. See you next time.